good morning, ma'am and classmate. Today, our group will present about the Global North and Global South. And to start, I will briefly explain what the Global North and Global South mean. The topic Global North and Global South is about how countries in the world is not equal. Kasi may mga countries na more developed, which is richer and mas advanced sila, and may mga countries na less developed, which is poorer and still improving. So yung difference nila is called the global divide. So ano nga ba yung global divide? Yung global divide means the gap or difference between the global north and global south, which is yung global north is developed countries and yung global south is developing countries. So it shows the difference in money and economy, healthcare, education, and opportunities in life. So, hindi lahat ng countries have the same chances para mag-grow and mag-succeed. What is Global North? Ito yung mga countries na highly developed, richer, and they have good technologies and services. And usually, yung mga tao doon, they have better jobs, they have a better school, and they have a better healthcare. So, ano naman yung Global South? Ito yung mga countries na developing or less developed, so they have more problems with poverty and have limited access to services. So why is this important? Because it explains why some countries progress faster than others. It helps us understand the inequality and it shows us kung bakit madaming tao ang nag-move sa ibang bansa for better lives.
Good day everyone, I'm Michael J. Paras, BS Criminology, first year Charlie, and I'm here to discuss about understanding the North. The Global North includes highly developed and industrialized countries. These countries usually have strong economies and stable governments. Advanced technology and modern infrastructure, better education, and healthcare systems. People in the Global North generally enjoy a highly quality of life. Examples: United States, Canada, Western Europe, Japan, and Austria. Ang Global North ay tumutukoy sa mga bansang maunlad at industrialisado. Karaniwan, ang mga bansang ito ay malakas na ekonomiya at matatag na pamahalaan. Kaya maayos ang takbo ng kanilang lipunan. Meron silang mga makabagong teknolohiya at maayos na infrastructure tulad na lang ng kalsada, transportasyon at mga malalaking gusali. Mas maganda rin ang mga kanilang edukasyon at nakatuon sila sa pangkalusugan. Kaya mas maalaga ang kalusugan kasi mas mataas ang antas ng kaalaman ng mga tao dito. Dahil ang mga mayayaman sa Global North ay karaniwang may mataas na kalidad ng pamumuhay. Kabilang na lang yung mga nabanggit ko kanina is yung mga Japan, Canada, Austria, and Europe.
Good day everyone, I am Jasper Mystica, BS Criminology, first year Charlie, and I am here to give quick knowledge or overview about understanding Global South. The Global South includes developing and less developing countries. Common characteristics of Global South include lower income levels and fewer job opportunities, limited access to technology and infrastructure challenges in education, healthcare, and housing. Many countries in the Global South are rich in natural resources but lack development. Most or karamihan ng bansa na nakapaloob dito guys is example natin ay mga African countries, Latin America, and also South and Southeast Asia. Sa kabuuan ng topic natin, pag sinabi nating Global South or understanding Global South, rekta na yan na nakapaloob yung mga bansang may mabababang ekonomiya or hindi nakakasabay sa pag-unlad ng ibang bansa. At syempre guys, ang terminong Global South ay para tukuyin yung mga may mabababang antas ng ekonomiya na mga bansa na hindi tulad sa term na Global North ay mababa po yung access ng mapagkukunan ng kita ng Global South per capita po. Nakapaloob po dito yung mga bansa na hindi nakakasabay sa ibang bansang umuunlad. Nakapaloob din po dito yung mga umuunlad pa lang at yung mga bansa na talagang wala pang masyadong pinagbago or hindi po nakaka-access ng mga globalization o like other countries, especially po sa technology. Kaya nga nang nasabi natin kanina guys na sila yung mga bansa na mababa yung oportunidad ng trabaho, may hindi masyadong nakaka-access ng technology, and syempre meron silang mga problema kung paano nila may execute yung pagpapalaganap ng edukasyon sa kanilang mga bansa. Sana may naintindihan kayo guys sa topic na to. Salamat. I am Jasper Mystica, BS Criminology, first year Charlie.
Key differences between the North and South. In economy, North is industrial and service-based, while South is agriculture and raw materials. It means the North has an industrial and service-based economy that generates high value and stable income through manufacturing and services, while South relies on agriculture and raw materials, which usually earn lower profits and are more affected by climate and market changes. Next is income and living standards. In North is higher wages and better living conditions, while South is lower wages and higher poverty rates. It means the North has higher wages because of its strong economy, leading to better living conditions and quality of life. In contrast, the South has lower wages and fewer high-paying jobs, resulting in higher poverty and difficulty meeting basic needs. Lastly, the technology and services. In North is advanced technology and strong public services, while South is limited access to technology and basic services. It means the North has advanced technology and strong public services that improve efficiency and quality of life, while South has limited access to technology and basic services, which slows development and makes daily life more difficult.
Good day everyone. Today I will discussing the global divide, which refers to the economic, social, and political differences between wealthier countries, often called the global north, and poorer countries, mainly in the global south. This divide affects living standards, access to resources, and opportunities worldwide. First, historical causes. One of the key causes of the global divide in the historical is colonialism. Many countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America were colonized by European powers. During this period, local economies were weakened and natural resources were extracted and sent to Europe, and the infrastructure was designed to benefit colonial powers, not local development. As a result, when these countries gained independence, they were left with fragile economies and limited industrial capacity, while the former colonial powers continued to grow wealthier. Second, economic causes. Another major factor is economic inequality between nations. Many developing countries face an unfair trade system where they export raw materials cheaply and import expensive manufactured goods. Heavy national debt forced government to spend more on loan repayments than on healthcare, education, or infrastructure. This cycle makes it difficult to poorer countries to invest in long-term development and economic growth. Third, the political and social causes. Political and social factors also contribute significantly to the global divide. Weak governance, corruption, and ongoing conflicts reduce stability and discourage investment. Limited access to quality education prevents people from gaining skills needed for higher paying jobs and economic progress. Without strong institution and education system, development remains slow and uneven. Benefits countries unequal, often reinforcing existing power and imbalance.
Effects of the global divide. Widening gap between rich and poor countries, high poverty and unemployment in the global south, migration from south to north in search of better opportunity, dependence on foreign aid and loans, global inequality and economic imbalance means the global divide creates a widening gap between rich and poor countries. Many nations in global south face high poverty and unemployment, pushing people to migrate to the global north for better opportunities. This divide also causes dependence on foreign aid and loans, leading to global inequality and economic balance.
Good day everyone, my name is Ira Bersosa, presenting the effort to reduce the divide, international development aid and investment. Ito po ay ang tulong pinansyal, kagamitan at kaalaman na ibinibigay ng mayamang bansa upang matulungan ang mga mahihirap na bansa at mapaunlad ang kanilang ekonomiya, infrastruktura at kabuhayan. Ang halimbawa po nito ay ang World Bank. Ang World Bank po ay nagbibigay ng pondo para po sa paggawa ng kalsada, paaralan at sistema ng malinis na tubig. Mga proyekto ng tulong pananalapi para sa pabahay at kabuhayan sa mga mahirap na komunidad. Pangalawa naman po ay yung United Nations Development Goals. Ang United Nations Sustainable Development Goals ay ang layunin ng mga bansa sa buong mundo upang wakasan ang kahirapan, gutom at hindi pagkakapantay-pantay at upang maprotektahan ang kalikasan. Ang halimbawa po nito ay ang di-kalidad edukasyon. So nagpagawa po sila ng mga pampublikong paaralan upang ma-afford po ng mga mahirap na paaralin ng kanilang mga anak. Ang pangalawa naman po na example nito ay ang malinis na tubig. So, nagpapagawa po sila ng poso sa mga liblib na lugar. Pangatlo naman po ay promoting fair trade and an ethical business. Ang fair trade at ethical business ay nagsisiguro na ang mga manggagawa at magsasaka ay tumatanggap ng tamang sahod at maayos na kondisyon sa trabaho. Halimbawa po nito, mga produktong kape at chocolate na binibili sa tamang presyo mula sa mga magsasaka. Improving education and healthcare system. Ang mahusay na edukasyon at serbisyong pangkalusugan ay nagbibigay ng mas maraming oportunidad sa mga tao upang umunlad at magkaroon ng mas maayos na buhay. Halimbawa po nito ay libreng bakuna. Ito po yung may mga pumupunta po kada barangay at inaalam po nila yung mga bagong panganak. And then, may mga dates po na kailangan dalhin sa health center yung bata para po sa libreng bakuna. And then, meron pong mga pampublikong hospital na ino-offer at meron pong mga scholarship at mga libreng textbook para sa mga mag-aaral. Sharing technology and knowledge naman po. Ang pagbabahagi ng teknolohiya at kaalaman ay tumutulong sa mga bansa at komunidad na mas mapabilis ang kanilang pag-unlad. Halimbawa po nito ay pagbibigay ng computers at internet sa mga pampublikong paaralan. Pagtuturo ng makabagong teknolohiya sa pagsasaka tulad ng climate resilient crops. So, ngayon po, kung makikita po natin sa mga public schools, they have the computers na kasi ito po yung minsan ginagamit na siya from nagkakaroon ng shift learning may online class. So they have to provide, sometimes nagpo-provide sila ng tablet sa mga estudyante.
Good day everyone. My name is Jomar Iskanyong Paraag. Why understanding the global divide matters. Importante na maintindihan po natin ang global divide between North and South kasi ipinapakita nito kung bakit hindi pantay ang buhay ng mga bansa. Kapag alam po natin ang difference nila, mas naiintindihan po natin kung bakit may mga bansang mahihirap at may mga bansang mayaman. Nakakatulong din po ito para mas maging aware po tayo sa problems tulad ng poverty, climate change, at health issues. Dahil po dito, mas nai-encourage ang kooperasyon ng mga bansa para magtulungan, mag-share ng ideas, at gumawa ng solutions. In the end, understanding the global divide help us work towards a more fair and better world for everyone. Thank you po.
The conclusion. The global North and South show unequal levels of development. This divide is influenced by history, economics, and politics. Reducing the gap requires global cooperation and shared responsibility. Understanding the divide is a step toward global equality. Means, ang Global North at South ay nagpapakita ng hindi pantay na antas ng kaunlaran dahil sa mga salik tulad ng kasaysayan, economy, at politik. Upang mabawasan ang agwat na ito, kailangan ang pagtutulungan at pananagutan ng iba't ibang bansa. Ang pag-unawa sa pagkakaibang ito ay mahalagang hakbang tungo sa pandaigdig pagkakapantay-pantay.
The references of this presentation is based on the data analysis from the United Nations, World Bank, Oxford Dictionary of Geography, and academic research by John Art Scolti.